Stop. Let's take the mystique out of fasting. I'm here to connect with our fasting community and the old man lifestyle, as well as what we call the fasting lifestyle. If you're a beginner when it comes to fasting, it can be such a daunting task to take on when you first begin. I know this myself because we all had to start from square one. It was very scary to do my first 48-hour fast. I just want to take some of the mystique out of fasting for maybe some of those questions that might be swirling around in your head, or maybe you asked some questions in my past videos, and it's really tough to always get to every question and answer it thoroughly. I try to as much as I can, but those of you that do know me, I am in a full-time job and I'm a full-time caregiver for my mom who's highly disabled. And so I'm doing my best in between. I apologize to anyone that if I could not get back to you. So a daunting task that you may encounter when you first start is something like, how am I going to survive 24 hours of doing a fast? Or I'm afraid what other people might say. I'm afraid of the detoxing symptoms that you may have, like having a headache, maybe just feeling horrible, right? Because you're detoxing. Other people are telling you or in your ear saying, oh, you can't sustain that. That's impossible. How can you live a fasting lifestyle, right? What are you doing? Are you trying to kill yourself? You're starving yourself? All these kind of things are coming up. And then another thing that might be a question that you ask yourself or other people are asking you, don't you just gain all the weight back when you finish fasting and go back to your regular eating schedule? I want to address some of those questions. So for one, you're not starving yourself. This is something that is conducted on a regular basis, even in religious groups. Almost all of them are doing fasting a couple of times a year, and where they do long extended fasts, which could be up to 21 days. Some are doing a month, 30 days. I'm not an expert on doing the far extended fasting, and I'm sure it's probably very similar to what I do now. The max that I usually have done in the past is up to 96 hours, but that's rare when I do it because once you're closer to your weight, your target weight, and you don't really have a lot to give when you're doing an extended fast, it just makes it tougher. And for me, what works for me when I feel like I may have derailed myself in my fasting lifestyle, or I've eaten way too much going out or something, I usually do a 24 to 48 hours. That makes me feel better, for one, and two, it gets me right back on track, cuts those cravings like sugar or carbs. You're back on the road to living your fasting lifestyle. Now, I eat one meal a day on my normal days, and that's still considered fasting because I'm fasting 22 hours most likely before I actually have a meal, which is usually at dinner time. And I know there was a couple questions about when is the best time to eat. That is a question that you have to ask yourself. Are you a morning person? Do you rather eat then? Are you a person that can eat at lunchtime because that's probably your most social time that you can eat with others? That might be a good time for you. For me, it's dinner time because I can be social with my family and at least eat around 4 or 5 o'clock, somewhere around there, depending on when I finish work. And then I give myself a 2-hour eating window so I can still get in a snack if I feel like I didn't get enough on the whole meal. So many different ways that you can figure that out. I have been laughed at. I have been scolded. I have been reprimanded for my lifestyle because once somebody finds out and they say, hey, let's go out and eat, and I'm like, I'm fasting today, so I'll have to do that another time. Can't go out today, but thanks for asking. And the face that they give you, like, really? You got a problem with eating? What are you doing? What's going on with that? Oh, I can never do that. You know, who does that? I need 3 meals a day or I'm going to fall out. Remember, you're going to get these kind of comments, and that's okay. Because you don't have to tell everybody and you don't have to tell anyone if you don't want to. So I say keep doing what you're doing. Be the leader of yourself and your life. We don't follow around like cattle, and you're not one of those people that is part of the masses that you are going to do the similar things that everyone else does just because society tells you to. This is huge. I mean, it's a big endeavor to take, and I congratulate you guys because you're disciplined, you're motivated, and you know what? You're just trying to improve yourself, just like myself. I'm trying to improve myself and just want to be better, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually. And we speak about that. And again, the fasting is a spiritual and mental mindset that basically resets itself. Things that may be bothering you mentally, maybe giving you anxiety, this will help subside those things. It really helped me a lot. And all I can do is share what has happened for me. It errs on the side of miracle. It's a miracle. This is something that cannot always be backed by science. Yes, there are a lot of studies, and I've studied a lot of studies. There are also people that would discourage you from doing fasting because you are taking on your health as your own advocate. You are preventing other illnesses from coming after you. You may have an illness that you're working on. Don't worry yourself about what people say. So you may be one of those people that don't believe you can sustain this lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, there's times that we just fall off, and you know what? You got to do your thing and eat maybe multiple meals, which is good because you may hit a plateau or you just don't feel like it some days, and that's okay. You can eat a couple of meals in the same day. And again, all these rules about fasting, you know what? You have to make your own rule for yourself and what works for you. Maybe it's something like mono fasting, and I think I have to do a video on that one because mono fasting is choosing one item of food and just eat that throughout the day. For instance, I did mono fasting with, say, juicing. I did juice fasting for a couple of years, and that was great for me, although it can be high in sugar, so you have to be careful of that. But at that time in my life, it worked perfectly, kept my weight down, I felt good, and my health was very good. You just have things that you may go through at times in your life that you'll have to adjust the type of fasting you're doing or the type of diet meal plan. Your cells are different in your body, your hormones are different, and we're aging, so therefore you need to change up and adjust. That's just being human. I also did another mono fasting, which was the potato diet, and a diet cannot be sustained. It's a lifestyle that can be sustained. And the other mystery about fasting that I want to clarify is, will I gain the weight back after I stop fasting? You could. Yes, there's some people who do not, but it all depends. Are you returning to your old habits? If you're returning to your old habits before you started fasting, yes, most likely 9 times out of 10, you will gain the weight back. You have to commit and you have to accept that this is a life change. And if you accept that, you will be on a beautiful journey that will keep you in a position of sustaining your weight and even having more optimum health. And that's what we all are here for in the first place, right? It's not just about the weight. It's not just about the vanity because, hey, that's how I started. I still do. I was being vain and I really wanted to keep the weight down, and I wanted what they call camera weight because I was acting and doing some side modeling and things like that, doing those jobs. So I was always watching my weight and where I was. Yeah, it was for vanity reasons. But now, in the midst of all of this, it's been such a journey on the spiritual end, my communication with God better, because trust me, I was no good at speaking to God on a regular basis. There were times I've gone for months without praying. And you know what? When I wasn't praying, the life was a mess. My life was chaotic and stressful, nothing but anxiety attacks back to back. Fasting calms you down, puts you in a position where you can open up your spiritual hearing, if you will. It changed my life for the better. And so that's what I mean about it's a spiritual and a mental reset in every aspect. What do you have to lose? Dive in, but dive in slowly. If you're very new to this, take your time. Think about intermittent fasting, right? Intermittent fasting, say, a 16-hour fast and an 8-hour eating window where you'll probably have 2 meals and then maybe a snack. It's okay. just condense down your eating window, because that's what it's about. That's what I call in intermittent fasting is part-time fasting. You don't have to kill yourself every day fasting. So please don't take me literally about my schedule doesn't have to be your schedule. You don't have to start there, and you don't have to finish there. And I hope that helped on taking the mystique out of fasting a little bit. Question: what are the things that are mysterious about fasting to you? I love to hear those comments if there's anything that I did not cover in this video, because I'm sure there is, because we could talk about fasting all day. And check out my other videos that cover this type of fasting and also cover questions that you may have. I am humbled that you even ask me a question and take the time out of your day to type me something. So don't forget, caregiving begins with you. And we'll see you on the next time.